Okay, good evening everyone, and we start our third session today on technical analysis. So, as I believe everyone can see the screen, and there's a quote on the screen which says that money flows from impatient people to patient people. So, you need a lot of patience to make money in market, and something like a patience which a panther shows when he's going for a hunting. So, when he's going for hunting, he waits quite a lot to spot which prey he has to catch. And maybe he doesn't choose the strongest one. He chooses the one which is weakest, and he again chooses like someone who is limping or something like that. And uske baad he waits and finds if he is within the reach or not, and then only he make an attempt to go for the prey. So that kind of patience is required for technical analysis to wait for the right setups as an entry. So if you have that patience to wait for the setups, then you will wait for the signals to come in, and then you will take a trade. Otherwise, what will happen if you don't have the patience? You will take the trades which are not required or which doesn't show that convincing pattern. So with that, we'll start our session today. We'll quickly revise the first two sessions that what we have covered in last two sessions, and then we'll go to the third session. So we covered what is technical analysis. We covered that what is there are four assumptions of technical analysis. Then there are certain advantages of technical analysis. We read about charts, and we read that there are various kind of trends. Thereafter, we read about candlestick patterns. We read about single candlestick patterns and multiple candlestick patterns. We learned about support and resistances and how they are a zone and not a point. And it has to be confluence of signal when we are taking trades based on support and resistances. Then we worked upon volumes, that how volumes confirm the trend. If it's higher volume, it means presence of smart money. And if volumes are lacking, it means that retailers are there and the signals may not work so well. Then we work on trend lines, that how trend lines act as support and resistances. Then we came to the important part of chart patterns, where we learned about reversal patterns and continuation pattern. And we discussed that continuation patterns are more reliable pattern than reversal patterns, and they should be sought for. The whole analysis has been till now that technical analysis is based on the fact that you have to buy strength and sell weakness, assess the prior trend, and be flexible about it. Now, in today's session, which is slightly more complicated, so I have kept lesser topic. We will go about simple moving averages. Thereafter, we will learn about exponential moving averages, followed by MACD, and we will learn about RSI. So, the first thing is what are these technical indicators and how they help us. So these technical indicators, they help us to find trend and momentum, and they also help to find us, give us buy and sell signal or entry and exit point. So these are the advantages of these indicators or oscillators. Now there are two types of indicators which are known as leading indicators and lagging indicators. So as the name suggests, the leading indicators are the indicators which are like ahead of time. Ahead of time in the sense they will tell you, okay, market ka bottom has been formed and you can take a long position, or the top is getting formed, or you can take the short position. The lagging indicators are those indicators which first confirm the trend. Okay, now what will happen? That lagging indicator will give you a signal when some move must have already happened. Means market must have already moved quite a lot from the bottom, or may have moved quite a lot from the top. Both have the advantages and disadvantages. Leading indicators are able to help you in a sense. They're able to tell you this may be the point where the top has been, these are topmost point or the bottommost point, but there are a lot of whipsaws in the leading indicators. Lagging indicators, they are lesser whipsaws, but they give you slightly delayed signal. So both should be known to us, that what kind of what will happen when we use leading indicators and what will happen when we use lagging indicators. So we come to the first indicator which we are going to today study is moving average. Now moving average are basically trend indicators, and they are mainly used because of their simplicity and their effectiveness. So as I covered, there are two kind of indicators, leading and lagging indicator. So moving average is a lagging indicator. Now people use two kind of averages, simple moving averages and exponential moving averages. So we'll quickly cover what are these simple moving averages and exponential moving averages. So before going to that, let's know what is moving average. So average we all know, suppose there are 5 numbers, 10, 11, 12, 13, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14. So we add them, it comes 60. And because they are five numbers, so we'll divide them by 5. So 12 becomes the average of these five numbers. But once you're talking about moving average, so what will happen? Suppose the next number comes 15 and total becomes 65. So what we are doing, we are again taking the latest five numbers. We are ignoring number 10 in this case. And hence, when we divide it by 5, so it will come 13. So this is how moving average behaves. Moving average is not a fixed number. Fixed, it's like moving five numbers. The last five numbers, and then we are taking average of those last five numbers, and hence it is called moving average. Now there are two kinds of moving average. One is simple moving average and what is exponential moving average. So simple moving average is just what I've explained till now. That what happens in simple moving average is you take data of last 5 days, add last 5 days data and divide it by 5. So whatever average comes becomes a moving average. And suppose next day again the data comes. So you take the data of the last day, which is the latest day, and you ignore the data of the first day. So automatically what will happen? This moving average will keep on changing themselves as per the latest data. And though we can make simple moving averages on the basis of open price or high price or low or close, but most of the moving averages are made on the closing price of the stock. Now, what is the difference between simple moving average and exponential moving averages? In exponential moving average, we are going one step ahead. So what we are saying in exponential moving average, let's suppose there are 5 days and we want to take out average of 5 days, but we are giving most importance to the latest day. And a day for yesterday, we are giving slightly less importance. A day before that, we are giving slightly less importance. And the first day, we are giving the least importance. So I will not go into the formula detail of formula and all, but you have to just understand the difference between simple moving average and exponential moving averages. That in simple moving average, we are taking average of last 5 days or 5 minutes, whatever the time period is. But in the exponential moving average, we are giving more importance to the latest data and less important to the older data. So that's why exponential moving average came into being. And throughout the time, we'll be using EMA. Most of the traders use exponential moving average because they give more importance to the latest data. And in technical analysis, we believe that the latest data is more important than the previous data. So that's why we'll give more importance to the exponential moving average. So what does a moving average does? A moving average indicates the underlying trend of the script. It tells us whether the trend is up or down, which you can actually make it from the naked eyes also. If you see that a stock or an index is making higher tops and higher bottoms, then the trend is up. But this also helps us to find out whether the trend is up or down. Moving average also is a building block of many other technical indicators such as Bollinger Band and MACD. MACD we will study in today's session itself, and that's how moving averages are very important. So for short-term trend to find out, people use generally 10 to 30 days. So roughly if you see in a month, there are 20 to 22 trading days. So if you are studying about 30-day moving average, so roughly you are studying about 1.5 months period. So that means short-term trend. Something like medium-term trend is 50-day to 125-day moving average, which comes to about close to about 3 to 4 months. So that comes a medium-term trend. So medium-term trend is about 3 to 4 months. And when we're talking about 200 days moving average, so that's a long-term trend, which is quite kind of yearly outlook. So 200-day moving average is when you are having a yearly or long-term outlook, we use 200-day moving average. Now I'll just show on the screen how a simple moving average is like, it appears like to be. So this is a chart of Nifty, and we can see that there's a simple moving average which is in red color, and it's like a lot of, when the trend is up, then the price of the stocks are above the moving averages, and when the trend changes to down, so the price of the stock is below the moving average. So this is a very simple method of finding out whether trend is up. So this moving average is about 25-day simple moving average, which means close to about 1.5 months of data. And we can see that all the time whenever the trend is up, moving prices are above the moving average, and whenever the trend is downward or in consolidation phase, so prices are below the moving averages. Now, similarly, as we have covered about simple moving average, now what happens when we add exponential moving average into that? So this is now same in the chart. You can see there is a sorry, there is a same 50-day moving average. One is exponential moving average, which is green color, and red color is simple moving average. And how exponential moving average is faster than the simple moving average. So because exponential moving average takes the latest data, give more importance to the latest data. So that's why exponential moving average is faster to react, and the other moving average is slower to react. So as you can see, though both are simple moving averages, so sorry, both are 50-day moving averages, but the green color line is reacting faster than the red color line. So that's why whenever the market goes down, green color line is the first to go down, and it crosses the red color line also. So that's how exponential moving averages are, and that's how simple moving averages are. Now, many times you will see using yourself a dual moving average. What is dual moving average? When you use two type of moving averages, that one is short term and one is long term. And we will see the application when we go ahead in the session. But this is how it appears to be. So suppose there is a shorter term duration moving average. So red color here is a shorter term moving average, and yellow color here is a longer term moving average. So the shorter term moving average always will be faster to react, and the longer term moving average will be slower to react, which is obvious. So as you can see in the chart, the yellow line reacts slower and the red line is faster to react to the prices of a stock. So this is how a shorter term moving average and a longer term moving average will react. Longer term moving average will be slower to react, and if we have the both same like same time period of averages, then exponential moving average will be faster to react. Now, one thing you have to note that moving average, as we have covered earlier, is a lagging indicator. So there will be always be behind the time. And whatever signals you are going to study right now in some time, always remember that these signals work very well when the prices are trending. It means when they are moving in one direction consistently. So if it's an uptrend, it will give you very good indications in an uptrend, and chances are there that if you are following a system of moving averages, you will make good money in a trending market. However, when prices are not trending, when they are moving in a range bound session, then moving averages signals will not be so reliable. There will be many misleading signals, there will be many whipsaws, and a lot of times your stop loss will be hit. So what is the objective of simple moving averages? That it gives you signal which tells you whether to buy or to sell. It provides you trend and momentum, but it helps you identifying trend and momentum, and it also provides you support and resistances. So we will cover each and everything one by one. First thing when we cover is that how it gives a signal. So there can be two ways of finding a signal. One is when you see from a single moving averages, and just when you see price is crossing the single moving average, then you are able to take a long term long call or short call depending on where the prices are. Or second thing is when we see interaction of with a longer term moving average. So first we'll study the price and relationship between the price and the simple moving average, single simple moving average. So as you see in the next chart, so like there's a chart and we see that this red line, which is the simple moving average. So it's a very basic signal which people take it. That is, you buy it when the prices crosses the simple moving average. So that's a buy signal. And you sell it when the prices crosses the simple moving average. So now when you see in this chart, you see, okay, prices have gone up, and thereafter when the prices cross the simple moving averages, then you take a initiate a long call, and when the prices crosses below it, then you take a sell call. So you realize that you in this case you would have got some point because if you have used the simple moving averages, but you will always you may also appreciate that there are a lot of whipsaws also in this. So as I covered earlier, simple moving averages is a system which works very good in trend. So let's see the other diagram like this chart if you see. if you have followed in this system, वहाँ पे जहाँ पे the prices of the stocks are trending, so you will find that whenever the price has crossed the moving averages, and if you have taken a call based on that, then you got substantial move before you got a signal of exit. So, and again, whenever the prices are choppy, then you don't take a call. It means when the prices go below it, either you sell it or you don't take it, and you buy, initiate a buy again when the prices are again crossing the moving averages. So whenever the prices are moving in trend, which is a strong trend, it will give you good signals. It will help you to carry your position to a decent target, and which will be very profitable. However, it's not so profitable when the market is not in a momentum. Now, second indicators we see when we use two SMAs, like lower moving averages, lower time period moving averages, and higher time period moving averages. But why are we using it? We are mainly using it because we found that the simple method of simple moving averages, there are a lot of whipsaws, and there is a lot of delay also. Like when market has moved quite a lot, uske baad hi SMA was giving us a signal of buy. And similarly, when the market has come down quite a lot, uske baad was we got a signal of sell. So हमारा major period was left out. तो उसको overcome करने के लिए traders have designed a crossover of two moving averages, that is a longer term moving averages crossover with smaller term moving averages. So what will happen, as we have covered earlier, the smaller moving averages they are faster to react, and the longer term moving average will be slower to react. So as we say in this slide, blue line is moving average is 15 and red line is moving average 50. So what is happening is, whenever the crossover is happening, that's the signal of buy. Yes, sir. Chedda sir. Chedda sir, any question? Sir, I'm not able to hear you. I think
now you are here. Now able to hear me.
Yes,
Hello.
sir. Now I'm able to hear you, sir.
I'm just saying this blue line or red line which we are seeing in the chart. From where you get these lines? Because normally I'm not in the chart. We don't see these lines.
Sir, at the end of the session, sir, I will show you how to make all the indicators, and with the live, we'll discuss some stocks also, and we'll discuss some charts also, and I will teach you. I will tell you each and everything how we get this chart and how we get the signals. Sir.
Okay. Right,
sir. So what happens? So this is how we get a signal of crossover. So whenever a shorter term moving average is going above the longer term moving averages, that's a buy signal. And other way around, whenever it's crossing it from the top and crossing it coming below the longer term moving average, that's a sell signal. So as you can see in this chart also, there is like blue, जहाँ पे blue line, जहाँ पे red line is the line which is faster and which is SMA 12, and the blue line is SMA 25. So the shorter term moving average is red color, and you can see red color is moving faster and it's crossing, like at this point it has crossed from the top. So what has happened, after market has fallen substantially and the buy signal came when again there was a crossover. So a person who is following this system would have captured a decent fall in the market. So this is how signals are generated in the 12 simple moving averages. So to just summarize it, so what is it? That you buy when the short-term moving average turns greater than the long-term moving average. So that's a buy signal. You stay in the trade as long as the condition is satisfied. It means till the time the shorter-term moving average remains above the longer-term moving average, one has to stay in that trend. And you exit the long position when the short-term moving average turns lesser. It means it crosses from the top and comes down to below the longer-term moving average. That's the time to exit. So there are various kind of time frames which you can use for these kind of averages. Generally, people use 9-day exponential moving average and 21-day exponential moving average for a short-term trade. Short-term trade means about 2 to 3 days of time, or maybe a week time or so. So these are the people who take a position and they want to hold a position for maybe 3-4 days. So they use this kind of crossover, which is 9-day EMA and 21-day EMA. people who have a slightly medium term outlook. So they choose EMA, which are 25-day EMA and 50-day EMA, and उनका time frame is about 2 to 3 weeks. Then those who are long-term type of trades who wants to buy and hold it for more than 3 months or so, they use time frame of 50-day EMA and 100-day EMA. And people who are long-term investment kind of thing who want to invest it and they don't want to be bothered about it too much, they use 100-day EMA and 200-day EMA. So important to note is that the longer the time frame you use, you will get lesser amount of signals also, and chances are there that your trend will also be that longer. So this is how various kind of traders use various kind of system, depending on their horizon, depending on their capital, and depending on their time period. So this is how simple moving average is used. Now I said that simple moving average also helps us to capture momentum or trend. So before us, suppose there's a very great chance of trending, then and if you're getting other signals also of breakout and all, then you can use this kind of system jahan pe simple moving average has crossover has taken place, and if the stocks move in the trend, then you will be able to take substantial amount of gain. Like something the same chart which was formed in Zomato some time back, jahan pe the shorter term moving average has crossed the longer term moving average at this price level. If you see the bottom jahan pe double bottom is getting formed, and uske baad se it has remained above it till now. So a person who is a trend type of player, if he has bought it at that point of time, he will not get an exit signal and he will be able to capture a big rally in the stock. Now, many times these simple moving averages are also used as support and resistances. So, like, what is the rationale behind using its support and resistances? Let's suppose there is a 20-day moving average, and so 20-day moving average means, and if the prices are above 20-day moving average, so इसका मतलब जो last 20 days में जिसने भी stock खरीदा है, chances are there कि वो इस समय profit में है. On an average, मतलब on an average, people are in profit. Whoever has bought in last 20 days, and if it crosses below 20 days का moving average, इसका मतलब chances are there कि most of the people who have bought the stock in last 20 days are in loss. So whenever they are in loss, chances are there they will try to exit the position. And if they are in profit, then chances are there very high that they will try to hold on to the position. So that's why these lines becomes important support and resistances level. And many times you will see that stock will specifically go to the 20-day moving average or 50-day moving average, and wahan se it will bounce. So these lines also act as support and resistances level. So again, in this chart, it has shown that multiple times the stock took support at the support line, that moving average line, and when the trend changed, it broke this line. So it gave a clear signal. Now the trend is changing, and people could exit it at that point of time. So once, as we know earlier, once support is broken, the support becomes resistance. So, like it says that many times market bounce on the oversold level, then it may go to the important exponential moving average, touches that, which is actually resistance, and a lot of time it reverses from there. So these kind of moving averages line, they also act as support and also act as resistance. So once again, I will reiterate, it gives you trading signals which are buy and sell signal. These moving averages work very well in trending market, but in sideways market, they'll chop around, or they give you a small loss or give you a very marginal profit. However, the trades which work in your favor will give you decent amount of returns. So you have to also remember this thing that most of the technical analysis thing is more about, it's a trend-based system. Most of the patterns, most of the indicators, most of the patterns tries to keep you in a trend. So what will happen if you're in a trend and the trend is pronounced and quite obvious, then most of the signals will give you profitable, decent amount of profit. But if the market is chopping around, then most of the signals will also chop around and you may have a small stop loss. लेकिन advantage क्या है? क्योंकि because you are exiting at a small stop loss, so even if you have 3 long trades and you have 1 good trade, then chances are there that because if you are carrying a winning position and you are cutting your losses all the time, that 1 trade will cover you for another 3 losing trades. So that's the whole thing about technical analysis. Most of the things about technical analysis, that you try to be in the profitable trade and you exit whenever you find a loss. So in a choppy market, a lot of times your stop loss will be hit, but whenever the trend picks up, you'll be able to catch a big move because of these signals. The thing is that you cannot find that konsa move will give me a big move. So that's very difficult to find which move will actually become a bigger move. So if you are following a system of simple moving averages, you are supposed to take all the trades. And what will happen over a period of time, you will realize that the trade, you will become profitable because of few trades which become very big. And you will be able to cut losses in those trades which doesn't work out. So as I covered, the profit-making trades will cover the loss of the previous trades also. So this was all about simple moving averages and exponential moving averages. I hope till now everyone is clear about simple moving average, that there are three kind of system in simple moving averages. One is you use only one simple moving averages. You initiate a buy when the prices crosses the simple moving average. So that becomes a buy signal. Then to make it faster and better, people started using two like crossover of moving averages, in which a smaller term moving average like 9-day EMA crosses the 21-day EMA. So that becomes a buy signal, and you remain in the position till a time you get a reversal signal. So I hope till now whatever I have taught about simple moving average is clear to all. If it's clear to all, then we go to the next topic, which is slightly more complicated. And for that, the understanding of simple moving average has to be there. Only then we can understand the next topic. Okay. So I believe that everyone is clear. So we go to the next topic, which is known as moving average convergence divergence. So this indicator is again based on simple moving averages. Advantages of this thing is that it is even faster than the simple moving averages, and we'll see how much faster it is. And it makes it from lagging to kind of leading indicator. So like moving averages, as I covered earlier, it's a lagging indicator, but when you use MACD generally covers the disadvantages of moving averages. So many people they use MACD instead of moving averages, or they use both the systems like MACD and moving averages. So what is MACD? So as the name suggests, moving average convergence divergence. So what it does is it finds out whenever there are two moving averages, as we covered, they are a smaller term moving average and they are longer term moving average. So whenever they are converging, इसका मतलब क्या हो रहा है कि trend may be changing, or whenever they are diverging, then also it means something. It means कि okay, again trend may be changing. So it tries to find out कि whether these moving averages are converging or diverging. So suppose simple, अगर smaller term moving average है and it has crosses the longer term moving average and उसके बाद this diverging, तो इसका मतलब क्या है कि trend is becoming stronger. Similarly, when they are converging, इसका मतलब है कि trend may be weakening. So you are able to see whether the trend is stronger or trend is getting weaker, and that's why you'll be able to find out. You'll be able to get the signals which are faster than the simple moving averages. And who uses it? Mostly the momentum traders use MACD. So how does MACD is calculated? So MACD is calculated using a 12-day EMA. Generally, it is calculated by 12-day EMA and 26-day exponential moving average. And both the averages are based on the closing price. So what happens? We subtract the 26-day EMA from the 12-day EMA, and we'll get a figure. Like suppose 26-day EMA is higher price, is at lower price, and 12-day EMA is a higher price. So we'll subtract it and we'll get a figure. And from that figure, we can draw a simple line graph, which is known as MACD line. So to explain it further, let's see this diagram. So what is happening in this? That there's a red line, which is a smaller moving average, which is 12-day moving average, and below that is a blue line, which is a 26-day moving average. So let's suppose at the last point where this moving averages are there, so we can see the 12 red line. It is depicting a figure of 21728, and the blue line is depicting a figure of 21631. So the difference is of 97 points. So MACD का figure हो गया 97 point. 97 is the मतलब MACD is the at presently at 97. So you have to remember this. Whenever there is a difference between these two moving averages, it will denote a figure. That figure may be positive or negative. In this case, it is positive, which is 97. So how it will be shown chart? So if you see नीचे this is MACD का line, and यहाँ पे बीच में वो zero पे रहती है. तो जब भी difference zero होगा, it will be at zero. And whenever the smaller moving average crosses the longer term moving average, it will go up. And whenever it is crosses for दोबारा ऊपर से नीचे, then it will go below 0. So this is how MACD line will look like. So this is clear?
सर एक बार वापस बताएंगे?
Okay, fine. So we'll यहाँ से देखते हैं दोबारा से. So what will happen is MACD line, मतलब MACD is basically moving average के दो moving average आपने choose कर लिए, 26 day moving average and let's say 12 day moving average. So what happens is कि suppose करो trend up है, तो up trend होगा तो जो 12 day moving average है वो faster react कर रही होगी और जो longer term moving average है वो slower react कर रही होगी. तो what will happen, जो shorter term moving average है वो ऊपर होगी और जो longer term moving average है that will be below the shorter term moving average. उन दोनों का जो डिफरेंस हो गया तो उसको बोलेंगे हम MACD की वैल्यू. मतलब अगर जो कि इस वाले केस में द शॉर्टर टर्म मूविंग एवरेज इज हायर, 12 को हम 26 से माइनस कर देंगे तो इट विल गिव अस अ पॉजिटिव फिगर. जैसे इस केस में 97.0 है. अगर मान लो वो दोनों एक ही पॉइंट पे आ गए हैं तो उस टाइम पे MACD की वैल्यू 0 हो जाएगी बिकॉज देयर इज नो डिफरेंस बिटवीन बोथ ऑफ देम. क्लियर है ना मृता?
ठीक है सर.
गॉट इट? नहीं आया समझ में? आई विल एक्सप्लेन अगेन.
हाँ नहीं, लेट्स मूव टू द चार्ट, वहां से कुछ समझ में आएगा.
ठीक है, तो ओके we'll further dwell it in the further charts. ठीक है, but make sure it's clear because थोड़ा सा complicated topic है, so it's important to understand each and every point. So just understand that MACD की जो line है, it gives you the difference between these two values, difference between two moving averages, which is one is faster and one is shorter, one is longer duration. So जब भी वो क्रॉस करेगा, जब भी shorter term EMA will cross the longer term EMA, it will become positive. The MACD will become positive. And जब भी वो other way around cross करेगा, मतलब जब भी trend change होगा up से down, तो वो ऊपर से cross करके it will go from positive to negative. So this is a signal itself. जहाँ पे MACD line whenever it crosses above 0, so it's a buy signal, and whenever it crosses below 0, it's a sell signal. So I hope till now this is clear, Namrata?
Yes.
So this is like how this MACD line is there, okay? But अभी things are not over. इसमें भी लोगों ने देखा, many traders find कि इसमें भी थोड़ा lag है, and इसमें you are getting some false signal, and इस lag को खत्म करने के लिए they further improvised it. So how did they improvise it? उसमें इन्होंने क्या किया? They added one more line, which is a 9-day exponential moving average of MACD line. Now try to understand it. कि एक तो पहले से MACD line है, which itself is the difference between two moving averages. उसके बाद उन्होंने क्या किया, जो MACD line है उसका ही उन्होंने 9-day EMA ले लिया. तो पहले हमने चेक किया था कि जो EMA होता है, EMA की लाइन always moves faster than is faster to react. तो MACD लाइन की जो EMA लाइन होगी, it will be different than the MACD line because उसमें आप EMA में क्या कर रहे हो, you are giving more importance to the latest data. तो MACD की जो 9-day EMA है वो स्लाइटली डिफरेंट होगी फ्रॉम MACD लाइन. बहुत ज्यादा दूर नहीं होगी उससे, लेकिन थोड़ा सा वेरिएशन होगा उसके अंदर. उसको बोलते हैं सिग्नल लाइन. तो नाउ देयर इज MACD लाइन एंड नाउ देयर इज अ सिग्नल लाइन, MACD सिग्नल लाइन. सो व्हाट हैपेंस नाउ, लाइक इफ यू सी इन दिस ग्राफ, जब भी ये मूविंग एवरेजेस क्रॉस कर रहे हैं, ठीक है, तो यहाँ पे जो व्हाइट लाइन है, वो MACD की लाइन है, और जो नीचे की साइड में, और जो जहाँ पे रेड है दैट इज, I just zoom in. Okay. So now you see इसमें 3-4 लाइन दिख रही हैं. जो ऊपर चार्ट में लाइन है, they are normal moving averages. Okay. So whenever these moving averages are, जब भी वो आपस में मिल रहे हैं, कॉन्फ्रेंस हो रहा है दोनों का, उस टाइम पे MACD will be at 0. So you can see this white line जो है, that is MACD line. नीचे जो white line है, that is MACD line. And जो red line है वहां पे, that is the signal line, which is 9-day exponential moving average. So whenever there is a crossover of these two lines, it's a buy signal. तो पहले वाले केस में हम क्या कर रहे थे? पहले वाले केस में हम कह रहे थे कि buy signal is whenever the MACD की line crosses 0, so that is a buy signal. But इस वाले केस में हम क्या कह रहे हैं? After improvisation, we are saying कि whenever the exponential 9-day signal line जो है वो crosses कर सकती है MACD की line को, that's the buy signal. We are not saying कि now when it goes above 0, that's the buy signal. We are saying whenever it crosses the MACD की line, that's the buy signal. So it will be further clear in the next chart. Okay. So like जहाँ पे जैसे है MACD की line है, तो you see यहाँ पे 3-4 फिगर्स हैं. तो जो ग्रीन, लेट्स सपोज जो The blue line is the MACD line, and red line is the MACD signal line. So whenever we are getting a crossover of blue line from this red line, so that's a buy signal, and other way around when it's crossing from the top, so it's a sell signal. So that's how signals are made in MACD. जब लास्ट में चार्ट स्टडी करेंगे एंड ऑफ सेशन में, तो वी विल सी दैट की हाउ द मूविंग एवरेजेस आर बिहेविंग, व्हाट काइंड ऑफ सिग्नल्स मूविंग एवरेजेस आर गिविंग, what kind of signal MACD is giving, and what kind of signals this 9-day signal line is giving. तो उस टाइम पे you will be able to appreciate better कि कौन सा सिग्नल is faster, कौन सा सिग्नल is leading, कौन सा lagging है, and कितना डिले होता है लगभग when you are using all the systems. So what does the value indicate when we say कि MACD is negative? तो इसका मतलब क्या है? And when we say MACD is positive, so what does it mean? So MACD negative है, इसका means है कि trend may be changing from up to, it has already changed from up to down, or when it's turning from positive to negative, it means it is turning from up to down. Whenever that MACD is positive, इसका मतलब क्या है कि जो shorter term moving average है वो higher है than longer term moving average, इसका मतलब trend is up. Whenever it is negative, it means the trend is down. It means that shorter term moving average has come below the longer term moving average. इसका मतलब trend is down. What does the magnitude of MACD actually means? So MACD का magnitude means कि intensity कितनी है trend की. तो suppose MACD अगर plus 30 है, and now इसमें क्या MACD can be very high also because there may be possibility that market has moved very fast. तो उस वाले केस में क्या होगा कि अगर market has moved very fast, the smaller moving average है, it must have moved very fast to react. The longer term moving average है उसमें जल्दी react नहीं किया होगा, so what will happen? There will be a lot of difference between the shorter term moving average and the longer term moving averages. So इसका मतलब है trend ज़्यादा strong है. So if the MACD values are very high on the positive side, इसका मतलब trend is very strong on the upside. If the MACD value is very strong on the downside, मतलब negative value बहुत ज़्यादा है, इसका मतलब है trend is stronger on the downside. So this is what MACD does. MACD gives us buy and sell signal. It also helps us to find out trend and also is used by a lot of momentum traders. How does it give signals? We have covered that there is a MACD zero line which is used for signals, and there is also MACD signal line. And whenever the signal line crosses the zero line, that's how we get the signal. Okay, so let's see some charts जहाँ पे हमें सिग्नल मिलते हैं. तो जैसे if you see in this chart, okay, so यहाँ पे क्या है, red line is the signal line and blue line is the MACD line. So whenever it crosses like this part, तो यहाँ पे आपको सिग्नल आ रहा है, यहाँ पे it means it has crossed. तो यहाँ पे आपको सिग्नल आ रहा है. लेकिन सपोज करो आप अगर नॉर्मल MACD यूज कर रहे होते तो नॉर्मल MACD हैज जीरो के ऊपर यहाँ पे गया है काइंड ऑफ. तो जीरो के ऊपर यहाँ पे गया है, मतलब ऑलरेडी द मूव हैज ऑलरेडी हैपेंड. बट अगर आप इस वाले सिग्नल को देखेंगे जो पहले इससे दिया है क्रॉसओवर पे, तो क्रॉसओवर सिग्नल हैज कम मच अर्लियर. सो दैट्स हाउ पीपल यूज MACD का सिग्नल लाइन, जिसके अंदर यू आर एबल टू गेट अ सिग्नल मच फास्टर देन द सिग्नल विच यू गेट अदरवाइज इन अ नॉर्मल MACD वाला थिंग. तो लेट्स सी सेंटर लाइन में कैसा होता है. आई हैव ऑलरेडी टोल्ड यू कि सेंटर लाइन में कैसे करते हैं. व्हेनेवर MACD क्रॉसेस अबव जीरो, तो दैट्स अ सिग्नल. Whenever the MACD crosses from zero से नीचे नेगेटिव में, तो that's a sell signal. So again let's see here, जैसे यहाँ पे क्या हो रहा है कि जो MACD का जो सिग्नल लाइन है जहाँ पे क्रॉसओवर दिया वो यहाँ पे दिया है somewhere here फर्स्ट पे. एंड अगर आप वो यूज करते जो पहला वाला आप यूज कर रहे थे कि MACD जीरो से ऊपर जाएगा, then actually you have missed quite a up move. Similarly if you see sell side में यहाँ पे MACD का क्रॉसओवर हो गया दोबारा, so आपको यहाँ पे एग्जिट मिल जाएगा. लेकिन आप अगर नॉर्मल वो यूज कर रहे होते तो आपको नहीं मिल पाता. सेकंड एग्जांपल में दोबारा देखो, जैसे MACD का क्रॉसओवर हुआ तो कहाँ पे बाय सिग्नल आ रहा है, एंड नॉर्मल आता तो आपको बहुत लेट आता सिग्नल. तो दैट्स द डिफरेंस बिटवीन MACD को नॉर्मल यूज करने में एंड इफ यू यूज द सिग्नल लाइन. सिमिलरली इट गिव्स यू फास्टर सेल सिग्नल्स आल्सो. So this is again a chart of Nifty जहाँ पे you can see when market is trending, so how does it behave. Now if you see यहाँ पे इस chart में there everything is there, right? So let's focus on this point जहाँ पे market became trending. Okay, so this is the point जहाँ market became trending. So look at this point यहाँ पे like this was the moving average of 21 and 12-day moving averages. So this is the point where you got a, if you are using just moving averages, तो मूविंग एवरेज में आपको कहाँ बाई सिग्नल मिलेगा, या इधर समवेयर हियर, ठीक है, इस पॉइंट पे मिल रहा है. बट इफ यू आर यूजिंग MACD, तो MACD का क्रॉसओवर इज दिस व्हाइट लाइन. तो MACD का क्रॉसओवर भी ऑलमोस्ट उसी पॉइंट पर है जहां पे आपके मूविंग एवरेज का क्रॉसओवर है, राइट. तो दिस इज द सेम पॉइंट जहां पे मूविंग एवरेज का क्रॉसओवर है. बट अगर आप MACD सिग्नल लाइन यूज कर रहे हैं, तो सिग्नल लाइन का जो क्रॉसओवर हो रहा है, इट इज हैपनिंग मच अर्लियर इन निफ्टी. so दैट्स व्हाई लाइक यू सी कि 4-5 डेज पहले ही सिग्नल दे दिया था MACD क्रॉसओवर ने, बट द सेम सिग्नल वाज गिविंग क्वाइट लेट बाय द मूविंग एवरेज सिस्टम. So that's the advantages of using MACD का signal line because it is faster than the moving average system. So I hope now MACD is clear.
Abhishek, I had wanted to ask one thing.
Yes, sir.
Now, you are even in your YouTube video channels, you generally more rely on the chart patterns, and
Right, sir.
I haven't heard you making much reference to indicators.
Sir.
For example, in this chart, while you would have, if you would have been taking a buy call, you probably would have waited for the price to break out.
Sir, right, sir.
So that would be much higher than the crossover.
Sir.
So, but also it would mean that you would have lost almost 50% of your gain,
Right.
because
Right.
after your breakout, where it is actually again going and consolidating, it is almost 50% of that trend is price action is lost.
Sir.
So, so do you also use a combination of indicators and chart patterns, or you purely rely on chart patterns only?
Like, sir, every trader develops a style as per his comfort level and as per his experience. So though I use something, but not necessarily the same thing will suit you also. So what happens is better to know everything and then you decide what you want to use it. But it should be systematic. Like if I am a breakout type of person, so I'll be more inclined to take those trades jahan pe breakout ho rahe hain. But it may not suit your personality. Your personality may be something like that, jahan pe you are able to find that you are able to use MACD better or simple moving averages better, and it may work out better for you. So इसमें से कोई right or wrong आंसर नहीं है. जिसको जो you will choose a system which will be suiting your personality actually. And उस पे सर हम लास्ट सेशन में बात करेंगे how this personality makes a difference, how different people may be using very different things, but they may be successful because they are comfortable with that kind of system. So you will have to master that system whatever suits your personality and your trading style, sir. So for me ऐसा नहीं है सर मैं यही system throughout use कर रहा हूँ, like breakout वाला part. Maybe right now market is a momentum, so most of the breakouts are working. Tomorrow they may stop working, so I may change my system. But I'll be only able to change my system if I know about all the systems. Then I will find out, okay, maybe this is not working well. Maybe I'll start using this system, and that may start working for me. Or it will be hit and trial. I'll find out something else. So what will happen? Someone who is more experienced, he'll be faster to adapt. Someone who has lesser experience, he'll be slower to adapt. But not necessarily what you are using right now. You'll keep on using the same system again and again. So it's important to know few systems, different kind of systems, and uske baad depending on your, like you will yourself feel, okay, these kind of trades are giving me more profit, or they are generally inclined towards me, and I am able to take these trades convincingly. So you will be using those systems more, and किसी और के लिए it may not work out in the same market situation. So it depends on person to person. But if you are asking me personally, तो मैंने भी ये सब किया, ऐसा नहीं कि I have not used this system. पहले I used to buy on support things and all, and sometimes it used to be very good profits also. Recently I am using breakout systems, and I find that breakout systems में momentum होता है, and because of that momentum, chances of failing are quite less, and as such is the bull market, so most of the breakouts are working. So as of now I am using this thing. Maybe 6 months down the lane I'll start using some different system which will be more rewarding or more profitable. So इसका कोई right or wrong आंसर नहीं है सर. Again, you have to choose as per your personality, as per whatever is suiting you, sir, more.
Do you also correlate these indicators with volumes? Let's say this crossover is happening with higher volumes, because you see this crossover has happened multiple times, which we eventually on the third attempt it has led to a breakout. So if you would have been only relying on the MACD, then you would have been forced to take this position 3 times before you actually and you would have probably hit the stop loss before you actually would have seen this rally going on. That could be
Correct.
probably one of the downsides. So is it that you use both the combination of this and volumes, it could probably be a better combination?
So sir, it's not only volumes, it's even the candlestick patterns also. So like whenever you're using one type of indicator, it's not that you will take a trade only based on one kind of indicator. At least you should see 3-4 things. So when you see MACD crossover, it's better if you see, okay, any other pattern is also there. Am I getting any bullish engulfing? If it is a bullish engulfing, are the volumes high in that? So it is always like confluence of signals. And the more confidence the signal is, the more confident trade you will take, sir. And maybe your size will also increase. Like for example, let's suppose there's a 50-day moving average and some stock is falling, it comes to 50-day moving average. Now 50-day moving average पे it makes a morning star pattern. And when you see morning star pattern, उसके बाद आपने देखा even after morning star pattern जो bullish candle है उसका, उसमें volumes are much higher than the candle in which the market has gone down 2 days before that. So now you'll be more convinced कि okay, there's a support के बाद एक morning star pattern है, morning star pattern के बाद volumes are higher on the up day. So now plus if you see some other signal as MACD crossover, so आपको लगे okay, now 4 things are matching. So and I have a stop loss, so I can, which is quite not go far, so I can take this trade with convincing, so with conviction. So that's why I said that patience. I was in the beginning of the session I was talking about patience. So when I said कि okay, that leopard actually doesn't go for the strongest animal, it goes for the weakest animal. और weakest में भी वो दिखता है जिसकी टांग खराब हो, जो थोड़ा बीमार हो, थोड़ा लंगड़ा के चल रहा है, उसमें भी वो चूज करता है जो सबसे पास में हो. So similarly in this thing also, it's not only one signal. You are actually looking for कि okay, it's not only one signal, it's not only MACD crossover. You will see other things also with things okay, are there other things confluencing with this thing, and can I take that trade? Then you'll be more confident about taking that trade, sir.
Okay, thank you.
So now we come to the last topic for today, which is the relative strength indicator. So relative strength indicator is very simple, and most of the people must have heard about it. So it helps in identifying oversold and overbought zone, and it also tells us the momentum, whether the momentum is high and sustainable or the momentum is low or market can turn around. So what happens in this thing? We'll not go about the calculation, how it is calculated. We'll just go by how it is used. So unlike other indicators, it is a leading indicator which helps us to find out the trend reversal. Okay, so बाकी जो हमारे average system and all those things थे, they moving average system is lagging indicator, so उसमें signal बहुत late आता है. But this is a kind of finding out. It's a leading indicator which helps you find out bottom or top. इसमें क्या था? It RSI indicator oscillate between 0 to 100. So it's the figure from 0 to 100, and इसमें दो वैल्यू, like this is the RSI. इस नीचे इसमें if you see एक level line जो 70 की होती है और एक line 30 की होती है. 30 means whenever the indicator goes above 70, it means that it starts going in the overbought zone, and whenever it falls below 30, it means it is coming to the oversold zone. So it is very simple, overbought and oversold. Now signals कैसे आते हैं इसके अंदर? तो signals आते हैं when there is a crossing of line of overbought and oversold zone. So it's something like this. Like suppose RSI is in oversold zone, and फिर उसके बाद, now there are different ways of using it. Some people use it let's say in this case वो overbought zone पे है and it remains in the overbought zone. So this is not the time you sell it when it comes to the overbought zone. When it crosses the overbought zone again and goes below the overbought zone, तो यहाँ पे you get a sell signal. So if you can see these lines, okay. तो पहले जब उसने initially 50 कई लोग यूज करेंगे जब whenever it has crossed from it was like oversold level, and when it crossed the 50 level, which is the center level, so some people may take signal at that point of time. Okay. Some people, when it crosses 70, that again is a signal. Then उसके बाद when it crossing down दोबारा से, so some people will take at that time कि okay, already overbought था and now it is correcting from overbought, so there may be a sell signal. So different kind of traders, we use different kind of system. How to use it further, we'll further dwell upon it, how to use it in a better way. So as I covered earlier, it tells you about overbought and oversold position. Above 70 is overbought and below 30 is the oversold thing. Now let's see this area, this chart. Okay, so what happens? Now when it goes below 30 level, so that means it's like kind of, it has become the oversold territory. So it's a buy area. But some people may try to find the bottom and they try to pick it here. But the right way to pick it is not at the bottom. We have to wait for it to recover our 30 area. And that's the area when you see, okay, now you can initiate a long signal. If you are that kind of trader who is a contrarian trader. Similarly, like in this case, it has gone above it, above 70, and it is maintaining above 70. And uske baad, it crosses, so sell signal comes when it crosses the 70 again. So it's all in the sell area, and when it crosses the 70, then you get a sell signal. So that's how RSI is used. But इसमें और भी तरीके हैं यूज करने के. Some people use divergence with the signal. So what is divergence? जैसे आप देखेंगे इस वाले केस में the stock price already had come to low level and इसका RSI was in oversold level, which is below 30. उसके बाद is bounce and the stock prices kept on going down again, but RSI did not go down. बल्कि RSI फिर भी हल्का सा it has not broken the previous lows. तो इसका मतलब क्या है कि momentum is waning, though the stock price is falling, but it is now not falling that strongly. And many people use RSI का signal कि now when it crosses so the 30 का price, so that will be the time to buy. So it's a kind of divergence where a momentum indicator is showing that momentum is lacking, and that's why you initiate a buy. As I covered earlier.
So one thing,
yeah, Namrata.
RSI, does RSI take helps of data from the volume, or it picks up from the price only?
No, it takes both price and volume. It takes data from both. Exactly calculation if you want, so I will discuss in the next class. I have not worked upon it. But it's an indicator which takes volume, which takes both the indication, volume as well as price.
Okay.
So this is how it is. Like in this case, what is happening? That the prices keeps on going down, but if you see RSI का जो indicator है, it has started going up. So इसका मतलब है कि momentum is now waning and it's a divergence is there in this thing. So this downward momentum may not sustain. But truly speaking, I am not a very big fan of RSI and I don't use it also. The primary reason being because it's a contrarian kind of trade which gives, and I personally believe that all this habit of contrarian trading actually is the one habit which traders should avoid. You should avoid picking tops and bottoms. So that's why I generally don't use RSI so much. And as such, I think after some time, you don't need RSI to see whether a stock is overbought or oversold. Like with experience, if someone is using charts, so someone knows that Kotak Bank is oversold only right now. So you can make it out that this is at oversold level or overbought level. And I'll cover later also that most of the people who are using technical indicators, they actually don't use too many signals. Like we have read 3-4 signals today. It's not necessary that you have to use these 3-4 signals. Maybe you can use 1 or 2 signals out of this. But it is important to know 1 or 2 because otherwise what will happen, you will try to find out, okay, what kind of signals are there. But you have to understand that there are about hundreds of things, hundreds of indicators and hundreds of oscillators are there. You don't need to learn about each and every one of them. You have to find out in these 3-4 which I have covered right now, they are the most popular ones and they were equally well than anything else also. So you have to find out what you want to use, and maybe 1 or you can use, or 1 or 2 maybe you can use, but you don't need to use all 4 also. So these are the there's a kind of divergence. Like if you can see, many people use that RSI thing for divergence. When like in this case, when the stock is falling, the RSI is not going down, rather it's making a higher bottom. So a lot of people use this kind of divergence signal. Okay, that momentum is waning, and then when it crosses, and plus they get some signal in the candlestick pattern, so they can initiate a long position to take a trade on the long side. So this was the last signal, last indicator which we have read today. This is independent of any other system, and basically most of the indicators have been developed by the successful traders. they are either leading or lagging indicators. RSI is one of the leading indicators, and moving averages, which we read in the morning, was a lagging indicator. RSI is a momentum oscillator which oscillates between 0 to 100. 0 to 30 is considered oversold, and 70 to 100 is considered overbought. So it's not that it has come to 70, so you will initiate a sell signal. Even if it may remain at 70 for a long point of time. Similarly, if it has come below 30, it's not necessary that it will bounce from there. It may remain below 30 for a long period of time. If you have to initiate a buy or sell signal, wait for a divergence in RSI. Divergence in the sense, wait for the prices keeps on coming down, but RSI is not going down as much. So chances of reversal will be strong at that point of time. Uske baad, if you see any more signals, like if you see bullish candlestick pattern, a multiple candlestick pattern, which is bullish in sign, like maybe a Marubozu or maybe a bullish engulfing pattern, then you can take a trade in the that side. So these four things I have covered, but I will also cover one entry system after this, that how we are defining an entry system. So now, like Justice sir, Vishal sir was asking me, so I thought I'll cover it at the end of session. Luckily, sir has asked us below it also. So how do you take a setup? So this is entry setup. Now we are talking about entry setup. As of now, we are not focusing on how to manage a trade. How to manage a trade we'll cover later. We are just focusing on how to find a good entry. So if you have found a good entry, so aapki aadhi problems are over. In the sense, if you are able to refine your entries well, so your you have won half the battle to be a successful, consistent trader. So how do you find a good entry? So suppose first thing is that your stock should be forming a recognizable candlestick pattern. So there should be a pattern. It may be a triangle pattern, it may be head and shoulder pattern. It may be a multiple candlestick pattern also, but don't be blind. Don't say anything, okay, something has fallen quite a lot, like Kotak Bank has fallen quite a lot, so I should buy it. Don't be like that. Let it make some pattern. Okay? There's no point getting tops and bottoms. It's okay to buy something at higher price if you are getting a reasonable amount of stop loss and a reasonable amount of risk and reward ratio. Now, when you see a pattern, the support and resistance should confirm the trade. It means, suppose you found a evening star, or sorry, morning star, and वहीं से morning star से पास में होती हुई, there's a 50-day EMA also going there. So you know, okay, 50-day EMA is my support line, and 50-day EMA pe there's a morning star pattern being formed. So that becomes my, now it gives me a very good stop loss. Now I can keep my stop loss either just below support and resistance or just below the pattern which is giving me. So now there are two things which are helping me. One is my pattern, and I got one more signal. Now uske baad मैं देखूंगा कि now what are the volumes in this trade. So I find कि okay, now there's a volume also. The volume is also giving that, just I covered earlier, it's maybe for the bullish engulfing pattern, and there was a support line also. And in the bullish engulfing pattern, the volumes were encouraging. So I will say, okay, my 3 points are fine now. So I can take a trade, and I can trade with this amount of volumes. I will take a trade. You can decide any amount of volume as per your trade size and all. So these three things have already been killed. Plus now you see a MACD also, and now you see in MACD also, the indicator is giving you crossover in the MACD line. So now all four things are matching. So when all four things are matching, so what will happen? Now you can take the trade convincingly, maybe with the maybe slightly higher than your average price also, or at your average price. But it will give you confidence of all those things. So this is how you're supposed to find a entry setup, where it's not only one signal, you are looking for 3-4 signals, and when you get confidence of these 3-4 signals, so you will get confidence. Now many times what will happen, out of 4 at least you will get 3 confirmation. Okay, 3 confirmations are there. So you will define a system for yourself. Whenever I get 3 confirmation, I will take a trade, or maybe my trade size will be this. And whenever I get a 4 confirmation, and my trade size will be this. And if I get lesser than 3 confirmations, then I will not take a trade. So you have to define these kind of rules for yourself. Okay, this is the setup, and this is how I'm going to take a trade. Generally, you will not get all the 4 things quite often, but 3, you should aim for at least 3 things should be there with me. Then only I will take a trade. Then last and important thing is, when you are taking a trade, there should be good risk and reward. So whenever you're taking a trade, your stop loss should be such that your target should be at least 3 times than your stop loss. Then it's worth taking a trade. If you see risk reward ratio is lesser than 1/3, then there's no point taking a trade. So try to go for those setups only jahan pe you will find ki risk reward ratio is at least 1:3. And now last thing I will say, patience. So most of the people lose in market because they don't have patience to wait for setups. Hota kya ki there's a lot of FOMO in the market ki just something will happen. Now you have to understand ki maybe you will pass away, market is going to be there even after you also. So market will always be existing and it will always keep on giving you patterns. It will always keep on giving some signals. Something will always be happening in the market. Only thing what will happen as time will pass by, abhi kya hoga, maybe you will able to find lesser number of setups. But as time will pass by, with your experience, you will be able to find more number of setups. And you will be able to act upon these more number of setups. Only thing you have to do is have patience to get that mastery. Have patience initially to wait for the good entry signal. तो आई विल सजेस्ट कि कम से कम 3 पॉइंट होने चाहिए तभी आपको एंटर करना चाहिए किसी भी ट्रेड में, जो मैंने 4 पॉइंट कवर किए थे. Then you take the entry setups and only then take a trade. Otherwise, don't take a trade. So this was the session for today. अभी लास्ट में we'll discuss few charts जहाँ पे हमने जो भी setups हमने सीखे हैं आज, we'll see how they behave in the actual chart. इसमें अभी तक whatever we have read till now, any questions till now? Okay, fine. So what we'll do, we'll just open some charts and we'll see how to get the signals and how do we read the signals. Okay, so I have opened a Nifty chart. I believe everyone can see it. This is the Zerodha terminal. So most of the traders nowadays use Zerodha terminal. So इसमें ऊपर it is the FX indicator जहाँ पे most of the indicators are there. So if you click on that indicator, you can write any of the indicator and you get most of the indicators there. तो पहले हम देख लेते हैं moving averages, जहाँ पे हम देखेंगे moving averages. So if you write moving averages, you will get moving average के इसमें बहुत सारे. So you can just click normal moving average वाले पे and यहाँ पे लेफ्ट साइड में आ जाएगा कि इस which is showing. तो यहाँ पे जैसे मैंने किया एक ब्लू लाइन आ गई है. Now this blue line is 9-day का moving average. Now I can change this line anything. Suppose I am more comfortable with 21 के आसपास, so I can change it to 21-day moving average. So that's how you get a moving average का signal in the chart. Now next thing is we read about crossover of moving average. So all you have to do is moving average में यहाँ पे एक there's a sign for multiple moving average multiple. So what will happen? इसमें multiple moving averages you can choose and you can इसमें see crossovers. Settings में जाके you can choose whether you want to use 2, 3 or you can use lesser also. So if you don't want to use, you can just remove some of them, and if you want to use, so you can like we will use maybe 50 and okay. So like इसमें हमने 50, 100 और 200 कर दिया है. So only those moving averages which you want to use, only those moving average you will be seeing in the chart. Okay. Thereafter we learn about MACD. So we can just write MACD here. तो जो default setting है वही MACD की default setting यहाँ पे आ जाती है. Now you see नीचे MACD का indicator has come, and this is the histogram. Histogram means कि it will tell you whether momentum is up or down. Apart from that, the red line is the blue line is the MACD line, and the red line is the signal line. यहाँ पे settings में you can see also like this is showing 12-day moving average, this showing 26-day, and signal strength is 9. So 9-day का is exponential. And यहाँ पे you see like if you see this area, तो यहाँ पे इसने crossover दिखाया था. And if you see MACD में there are not so many crossover as you can see in the moving averages. So many people that's why use MACD rather than moving averages because it filters a lot of signal. Like if you see Nifty का chart also, there are not lot of crossovers. किसी zone पे है जैसे यहाँ पे इस zone पे जहाँ पे lot of market is not moving in a trend, वहाँ पे you will see lot of crossovers. Otherwise, you will be able to capture any big trend. You will be able to capture if you are using MACD का thing. So this is how you use this thing, and then you can go to RSI also. So all you have to do is indicators में जाके write RSI, and you will get relative strength indicator, and यहाँ पे you will see RSI. So इसमें you see lines of 70 and 30. So you see also कि at 30 के आसपास आके it has sometimes became a यहाँ से market has bounced basically because it became oversold. Similarly यहाँ पे whenever like it came to this day, तो यहाँ पे you can see divergence जहाँ पे market kept on going down but RSI was making higher bottom. So that's how people take trades based on RSI and MACD level. So not necessary that you have to use all these indicators. You have to find yourself which you are going to use, and it's mainly about consensus or signal. You have to understand it's not only about one signal. There should be multiple things working together, which will give you better signal, and then you can see your risk and reward ratio. So that's all for today. Anyone wants to have any? Anyone wants to ask anything or any doubt is there?
Hi, Abhishek.
Yeah, Namrata.
Can you please explain the histogram pertaining to the MACD?
Okay. So histogram just shows whether the thing is positive or negative. I'll just. So when you see it's matching with the line. So whenever you see this line is crossing, the histogram become negative, and whenever the line is crosses on the upside, the histogram becomes positive. So it's a just visual representation of make it easy to watch. Like okay, you don't have to see the crossover of the line. You can just see okay, crossover is happening here. So that's what histogram is about. जितना अगर momentum ज़्यादा होगा तो histogram will be more in green. अगर momentum negative में ज़्यादा है तो it will be more in the red side. So that's what only histogram is about. Fine, Amrita?
Sure, thank you.
So see, what I would like to say that these are the indicators we have covered. We have covered about 4 indicators, and थोड़ा सा what I feel कि people are feeling थोड़ा सा overwhelmed, but try to understand that you don't have to use all these indicators. We have to use the mix of signals, and then we'll see which one to use. So that will come with experience and all those things. The more number of charts you'll use, more things you will see, more confident you will be about. If you don't know about, or if you don't learn about almost everything, not almost everything, if you don't learn about these things, what will happen? You will not be so confident about technical analysis. But if you know and you don't use it, it is still fine. That you know these things. Okay, RSI कैसे work करता है, you should know. You may use it, for your trading. You may not use it for trading, but that will give you extra confidence. Similarly for MACD, you may use it, you may not use it, but that will give knowledge will give you confidence. Okay, I don't want to use it. That's a different thing. But if you don't know it completely, then what will happen? You will find that something is lacking in you, and you need to learn something, and then only you will be able to become a profitable trader. So that's not the case. Truly speaking, abhi hum next session mein we'll learn about Elliott waves and Fibonacci series and all those things. So all those things are for knowledge purpose, and they help you in certain aspects. And as I said earlier, it's not only one thing, it's always about mix of those so many things. So only what will happen, जैसे विशाल sir बोले थे कि maybe I just cover few points in my YouTube channel, but what has happened because of experience and all those things, I'm able to see all other things also around. Okay, maybe I'll be able to count the waves also, which I'll not cover in my channel. Maybe I'll be able to see Fibonacci retracement also, which I'll not cover in the channel, because channel में क्या होता है, you have to leave it less than 5 minutes. If you make it more than 5 minutes, so what will happen? People will lose interest and will not watch it so much. So you have to keep a video less than 5 minutes. So I generally cover the basic points, and that's all. So that's all for today. We'll call it off if there is no other question. Fine, sir. No one. So shall we call it off?
Yeah, thank you,
Abhishek,
Abhishek.
I wanted to ask one question, like from the last class. So I watched the video. So for the continuous pattern, like flag pattern, triangle pattern, where to put the stop loss and target? एक बार वो बताएंगे वापस?
Okay. So every pattern has a stop loss and target. Like suppose continuation pattern में flag pattern है, तो flag pattern में क्या होता है? There are two ways to keep a target. First thing we will talk about stop loss. Stop loss is low of the flag becomes a stop loss. Okay, so whenever flag is there, okay, let me open a chart and let me show you. So like this is Maruti ka chart, if you see, and if you see, this is a flag pattern. Now this is the kind of a flag pattern जहाँ पे ये flag pattern बन रहा है. Now इसको आप इसको if you draw it. So this is a flag pattern and this is the pole of the flag. So now when it breaks out from here, so what happens? Initially you will keep a stop loss below the flag. So it will come somewhere, suppose it was at 1100. Now if you see the red line 11243, so roughly about 11240 is the stop loss, and this is target will be the first target will be the width of the flag. So width of, if you measure the width of the flag, it's about close to 500 points from 250 to 750. So 750 to 11750 plus 500 points means 12,250 will be your first target. So this is your first target, which was 11,250, which is the width of the flag. Second target will be the whole pole. The length of the pole will be the second target. So if you see from measure from here, this is roughly level of 10,000. 10,000 say it has gone to level of 11,500. So which is about 1,500 points. So 1115 say 1,500 points further. That will be close to 13,000. So target becomes 13,000. Now this is a classic thing जहाँ पे it has worked out very well. Where you see कि यहाँ पे flag था and it has exactly gone to 13,000. Exactly met that 1,500 points and उसके बाद से it has come back. So many times you will see that these patterns work very well and they meet the target or go very close to the target and then they come back. So this was about the flag pattern. Similarly, same thing is for pennant. Pennant mein what happens is that target is not as strong as flag pattern. So target is not the length, but you can have a trailing stop loss. Initially, the width of the pennant is the target, and uske baad you can have a trailing stop loss, which is better. Then there are other patterns like यहाँ पे if you see HDFC Bank has made a pattern जहाँ पे it was making a ascending triangle pattern. So इसका जो low था वो close to about 1380 था. And high was close to about 1480. So if you see closing basis के आसपास, but if you see this thing, about 80 points के आसपास का इसका weight था. If you see this thing, roughly closely 80 points का weight था. So when it broke out 1480 का level, तो 80 points ऊपर चला जाता है target. तो 1480 plus 80 points becomes 1560 or so. So it actually went to 1560 and 1560 say it came back. So that's how ascending triangle का pattern will be there. जहाँ पे width of the triangle will be the pattern target. Stop loss will be in this case. अगर suppose you are taking a breakout यहाँ पे, so the low of the last low के below, the low will be the stop loss. Fine, Namrata.
And one more thing, जैसे ये 20 days moving average and 50 days moving average, या if I say MACD 12 days and 26, you said EMA we can use for the short in MACD. So ये जो basically ये intraday trading में मतलब it's a whole good और long term trading में भी मतलब जैसे ये अभी आपने चार्ट लगाया ये monthly का चार्ट है, so दोनों में चलता है वो या कैसे?
तो इंटरडे ट्रेडिंग का एक अलग से सेशन आई हैव केप्ट, तो उसमें वी विल डिस्कस इंटरडे ट्रेडिंग. इंटरडे ट्रेडिंग ऐसे इज अ वेरी डिफिकल्ट बॉल गेम, इट्स द मोस्ट डिफिकल्ट थिंग टू डू. सो उसके लिए एक आई हैव केप्ट डेडिकेट सेशन एंड वी विल डिस्कस दैट इंटरडे ट्रेडिंग इन दैट कि उसमें किस टाइप के सिग्नल्स हम यूज करते हैं. उसमें 2-3 टाइप के पैटर्न्स होते हैं, वी यूज इट. सम पीपल डू यूज मूविंग एवरेजेस, जहाँ पे वो मूविंग एवरेजेस को 20 मिनट्स का एक्सप्लेनेशन मूविंग एवरेज को सपोर्ट लेके चलते हैं एंड दे यूज इट फॉर डेली आल्सो, एंड सम पीपल यूज MACD आल्सो. बट how I do it and how most of the traders do it, I will discuss in that session.
Okay, so अभी वाला जो basically 2-3 days या 1 week और मतलब उसके लिए better है.
So all these like patterns जो मैंने discuss किए थे, like especially continuation pattern if you see and reversal pattern, they generally form for a longer time frame में. But if you are good with charts, so you will see them in intraday trading also. Intraday maybe you will be able to see flag patterns, you will be able to see spot head and shoulder pattern. But what happens intraday में थोड़ी reliability कम हो जाती है. What happens when the longer duration pattern is there, so reliability is more. But I will say intraday is very good for learning, बिकॉज उसमें क्या होगा कि आपके छोटे टारगेट होंगे, छोटा स्टॉप लॉस होगा, इट विल गिव यू लॉट ऑफ लर्निंग वैल्यू इनिशियली, इन द सेंस कि 2 आपके स्टॉप लॉस हिट होंगे, बट यू विल द मिस्टेक्स व्हिच यू मेक देयर, यहाँ पे क्या है कि पैटर्न बन रहा है, तो यू मेक अ मिस्टेक एंड you will only realize quite late कि अच्छा मैंने यहाँ पे शायद एंट्री में गलती कर दी थी. Intraday में what happens, because things are happening very fast, so you will be able to learn from your mistakes very fast, and you'll become, as the process will take you to be a better trader, closer to that. And people use it, whatever you're using here, people use it intraday also. थोड़े से subtle changes होते हैं. I'll cover that once we'll cover the intraday का section.
Okay.
And any other doubt? Anything Chandra, you did not understand or anything you covered again?
Go through it again. Once you post your video, I'll go through it
Right.
again.
Right, sir. So I believe, sir, you may initially आपको लगेगा नहीं, but you will realize that just because of knowing all these things, it will be helpful for you that you will not go into things like buying Kotak Bank on dips and all those things. So at least those things will be clear to you कि why you should not buy on dips and when you should buy it. So at least अगर आपका एक भी lessons you imbibe it, sir, it will be very helpful in long run, sir.
Got it.
Right, sir. So thank you, sir. We'll call up the session. Thank you so much for attending it. Thank you, Namrata.
Thank you.